Jesus Christ be praised.
How's trade? Any trouble around these parts?
Nothing we can't handle.
Listen, innkeeper, I hear you have some game here from time to time.
Aye, we have dice games happening most nights.
You make a stuffed bird laugh. You know full well what I mean.
No? I've no idea what you're talking about.
I'm not here to make any trouble for you. Just looking for some job I can aim for. Another string to my bow, so to speak.
I think I'm catching your drift.
Splendid.
But before I tell you anything, I'll have to put you to the test. You know, I can't send every Tom, Dick and Harry to my friends.
Fair enough. What do you want me to do?
At the stud farm near here, there's a stable hand by the name of Jakub. Bastard got lucky at dice and won my favourite tankard off.
And what's that got to do with me?
If you'd stop interrupting, you might find out. Anyway, he's so full of himself, he doesn't want to give it back, not even for money. But he's very fond of archery, and I don't need to add he likes to make bets.
I'm with you. If I can win your tankard back and bring it to you, you'll know that
You're not completely useless. That's right. So, get going. I'm thirsty, and I'll always taste it better out of my trusty old tankard.
How's trade?
Nothing we can. Take care now.
Look out. Jesus Christ. Take care.
I hope I can be I'd like to find out about the poachers round here who've been stealing game recently.
I don't know anything about that, but if it's gossip you're after, go and speak to Brother, the tanner. He always spins a good yarn. You'll find him at the end of the village, the last house on the way to the quarry.
I hope I can be of help.
I'd like to find out.
What about them?
Well, I wondered if you.
Tom of the Baths was mouthing off in the tavern, that's all. Take care.
I'm at your service.
I'd like to find out about the poachers round.
I don't have time for gossip. If that's what you're after, go and speak to Elena. You'll find her in the fisherman's hut by the pond. God be with you. What?
Why are you waking?
Yeah!
What the hell was that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Look out. I hope I can be of some humble service to you.
I hear you want a tankard off Andrew the innkeeper.
I did. Luck was on my side. What's it to you?
You ought to give it back,
Why should I?
because the innkeeper wants it back, and because I fucking say so.
Manly words. But if you want the tankard, words won't be enough.
Fine. Have it your way.
God be with you. You gonna cry now? Give up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey! I'm honored that you...
I'd like to find...
I don't know anything about that. Good luck then.
What do you need?
I'd like to find...
What about them?
Well, I want...
Tom of the Baths was mounted. See you later.
I brought you back your tankard.
Ah, so you're not completely useless. Lucas will be happy to see what handy people I'm sending him.
I suppose this Lukesh is your poacher friend.
Now then, poacher's not a very nice word. I'll call him more a man who knows a good opportunity when he sees one.
I see. And where can I find this opportunistic friend of yours?
He lives on the hill to the north of the castle, in a small hut. If you're planning to talk to him, make sure you tell him I sent you.
I won't forget. Thanks.
I'm the one who should thank you. I'm looking forward to putting my lips to the old love of mine.
How's trade?
Nothing we can handle. Good luck to you.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
How are you?
I've taken care of that camp.
Have you brought me...
Here it is.
Good work. Well done. Some farmers from Ujits came to the castle with a
I understand. I have some trophy.
Show me. Good work.
I'd like to improve.
Certain.
I want to achieve.
All right. But it'll...
Isn't that quite a lot? What do you say to...
I almost... Agreed. Now listen.
Who's there? Answer me. Jesus!
What's up? Do you need some help?
God be with you. What?
I heard there are poachers in the woods round here.
If only if it was just poachers. It's that sorcerer Hare. He's the one who's been running amok. I said he'd be back, and I said he'd be vengeful, and I was right both times.
Tell me something about Hannikin Hare.
Ah, that was all years ago. He turned up here one day. No one rightly knew where from. He claimed up at the castle to be a nobleman's son, and so he got the office of Master Huntsman, and Margaret was promised him for his wife. Nobody could have known he was a sorcerer.
And how did his sorcery reveal itself?
Well, he was able to vanish into thin air in the forest right in front of folk. And I've heard it said he spoke to animals, too, though I don't know the truth of it.
That doesn't sound very convincing to me.
That's because you've not seen his marksmanship. It was natural, the things he could do with that bow of his. They say he sold his soul for the gift of it.
I see. How did it go with Margaret?
I'm not one to gossip, but she was a flighty lass in her younger years. She could never make up her mind which one she wanted, the Hare or Nicholas. So in the end, fate decided for her.
What do you mean? What happened with Hare?
Oh, that was quite something. And then some on top of it. Sir Henry of Lima was visiting here at the castle, and Hare snapped his guardsman's neck with his bare hands. Of course, they found him out. But how do you keep a sorcerer under lock and key? You can't. That's your answer. And that Satan's spawn slipped the net.
Oh well, quite a wild story. Any idea why he murdered the man?
No one knows, and most likely never will. But they...
Was he actually seen killing the guardsman?
I suppose so. Else they'd hardly know who did it, would they?
That's probably true. There is one other... Tell me something.
Ah, that was all years ago. He claimed up at the castle to be a nobleman's son, and so he got the office of Master Huntsman.
Well,
Not at all.
God be with you.
I want to ask what...
So ask.
Has anyone actually seen this Hannikin Hare? He seems...
Oh, he exists all right, but he flits around in the forest like a shadow. They won't be catching him anytime soon, but Blacksmith's Betty heard some of their goings-on in the woods.
Goings-on? What's that supposed to mean?
Cavorting and raising hell. Sorcery! Hare meets up with his sorcerer's apprentices, and they feast in the clearing in the woods. In the morning, they turn into ravens and scatter. Or so she says. But you'll have to ask Betty for more. Who knows what she saw? Or what she was doing there with them.
Very well. I'll ask. Who does Hare want revenge on?
Master Huntsman Nicholas, of course. When the hare disappeared, Nicholas took his Margaret and the huntsman's posting.
So Nicholas came out of it well?
That one always knew how to land on his feet.
God.
Thanks. I think I know all I need.
Take care.
I'm glad.
I'd like to find out about the Pope.
I don't know anything about it. But if I were you, I'd speak to Martha, the innkeeper. See you later.
God be with.
I'd like to find out about...
If I were you, I'd ask Thomas, the bath hand.
Good luck then.
My humble greet.
I'd like to find out...
I'm sorry, but I don't have time.
God be with you.
What was that?
God save you.
I'd like to find out about...
I don't have time for gossip. God be with you.
God said.
I'd like to find out about the poachers round here who've been stealing game recently.
If I were you, I'd ask Thomas, the bath hand. He was boasting in the tavern about how he was off. God be with you.
I heard you've got a poaching problem in the woods around here.
In the woods and out of them. Not long back, the bastards hung a deer's head on the huntsman's house.
That's pretty brazen of them.
Certainly is. Word around the village is that someone wants to shame him till he squirms.
Cutting a deer's head on the huntsman's house sounds pretty risky. Why would anyone do that?
Maybe they want to show that Huntsman Nicholas is no match for them. And then
Do you think it was someone local?
I really don't know. All sorts of things get said. Hannikin Hare's back, if you listen to some, and others are going on about Tom of the Baths.
And what about you?
It could be anyone. There's more than one that has it in for Nicholas.
What's so suspicious about this Thomas?
Just that he was drunk and blabbering.
Tell me something about Hannikin Hare.
He used to be Master Huntsman here a while back. But then Nicholas got him accused of a murder, and the hare had to flee.
What happened between Hare and Nicholas, anyway?
Those two didn't get on from the start. And then that business with Margaret really set them at each other's throats. But it all came to a head about 15 years back when Sir Henry of Lipa came to visit.
Sir Hanish's father?
Just so. There was a banquet at the castle in his honor, and in the morning they found one of Sir Henry's men-at-arms in the ditch with his...
And what happened to...
That's just it. No one rightly knows. They put him in the dungeon, but when Sir Henry's men...
So how did Nicholas put the blame on Hare?
Nicholas always had a viper's tongue, and events made it easy for him. That evening there'd been a right falling out between Hare and the guardsman. Blows were struck, Well, Sir Divish didn't want any ill will with Sir Henry, so he tried to settle things as quick as he could, and Hare got the short straw.
What was going on with Margaret?
Her father promised her to Hannikin, because they seemed a good match. But Nicholas couldn't stomach that, so he did what he did.
I want to... Tell me something about Hannikin Hare.
He used to be Master Huntsman here a while back.
I want to ask about... So why do people think Tom of the Baths is involved?
Ah, that's just nonsense. He was bragging in the tavern that he'd put on a venison feast.
Did he?
I doubt it. But if you want to know more, ask my husband, the innkeeper.
That'll be all.
Goodbye.
My humble...
What do you think about...
What should I be thinking? If they ever catch them, so...
Folk were talking about Hannikin Hare.
Oh, good lord. People do like to prattle on. Don't you go believing a word they say. It's the...
Do you think Nicholas isn't doing enough?
A master huntsman who lets poachers run wild through his woods? He's useless.
Right. Thank you, Innkeep. I've heard Tom of the Baths was mouthing off in here.
So he did. He and Jack Piper were bragging about how they'd make a feast for the village lasses, that there'd be venison roast and enough beer to fill a river. And a few days later, they did come and buy a few kegs of beer from me.
Did they have anything else to say?
Not really. I told him to shut up, or someone would hear him and there'd be trouble.
And what did he say to that?
Nothing. He had more booze in him than the castle cellar. He just hiccuped and slid under the table.
Did they have anything?
Not really. I told him to shut up.
And what did he say to that?
Nothing. He had more booze in him than the castle cellar. He just...
Do you suppose he meant it?
Hardly. He's nothing but a braggart.
All right. I'd best ask him myself.
Feel free to ask, but don't believe...
And who is this Jake Piper?
Well, he's Tom's best mate. A decent fellow. They call him the Piper because everywhere he goes, he's whistling on that pipe of his.
Where can I find him?
Well, most likely in the quarry.
Thank you, Innkeeper.
See you later.
I've heard Tom of the...
In a few days.
Thank you, Innkeep. How are the town...
Ah. Good luck, then.
I'm at your service.
I'm here to find out about the poachers gang, and I need to ask a few questions.
Well, ask away. I don't have all...
I heard you were yelling in the tavern that you were off to hunt some venison.
Look here. I don't know who you are, but you should watch your mouth.
I will, don't you worry. So what happened then?
What? Nothing. It was just the beer talking. I got pissed and started spouting shit. Didn't mean a word of it.
Maybe not. That remains to be seen. So, you're saying...
How many times do I have to explain?
So, how do you account for my finding some deer antlers in your shed?
Well,
Come on. Let's hear the truth.
all right. But promise me you won't drag...
Speak up and who knows?
All right. The truth is I did drag a deer carcass there, but I didn't do the shoot.
That's a likely story.
Honestly, not a word of a lie. I caught...
And who might that be?
I don't know.
If you don't tell me who it was, I've no reason to believe that story of yours.
Fine. Fine. He's one of the charcoal men.
There are plenty of charcoal burners around here.
He came from the charcoal piles south of here. If you follow the creek upstream, you can't miss them.
Well, you better pray I find him, because if you've been lying to me, I'll go straight to the castle. Understood?
I'm telling the truth.
We'll see.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
What was that noise? Lost something here?
Oh. God watch over you, good night, especially in these dark...
I've got a few questions about these poachers.
So ask.
What do you make of this poaching that's been going on?
It's clear as day. Hannikin Hare's back. And putting those antlers on Nicholas's house? Well,
You mean to say his wife's cheating on him?
all I'm saying is she might be feeling the urge. It happened.
You mean to say...
All I'm saying...
Well, you're the first who's certain of Hare's return. So far, I've just heard vague rumours.
Well, now, I wouldn't say I'm completely sure. I suppose some other mischief maker could have done it, but better...
You were singing a different song not long ago.
So? Why do you want...
It's nothing to you, but I'm helping Nicholas unmask that local poaching gang.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, now you know. And you also know not to keep anything from me. So, what's the story with that hare?
All right, I'll tell you what I know. But promise not to tell Nicholas I said it.
I'll do what I can, but I need to let him know what I discover. So, out with it.
It's to do with Margaret, his wife. They say it's all because of her.
Keep going.
I know full well Hare's here, because Margaret admitted as much.
What did she tell you?
That he waited in the woods till she came by and they exchanged some words. Words was all she told me. Who knows what they actually got up to?
And what did they speak about?
I don't know. But if Nicholas knew they'd met, he'd most likely kill her.
You're sure she wasn't saying it in jest?
Oh, no. Margaret wouldn't joke about something.
Well, you're the first who's certain of Hare's return.
Well, now.
Stop trying to...
But
you know who...
Of course.
I'm his right-hand man. And I'm helping the huntsmen catch the poachers.
All right, I'll tell you what I know. But promise not...
I'll do what I can, but I need to let him know what I...
It's to do with Margaret, his...
Keep going.
I know full...
What did she tell you?
That he waited in the...
And what did they speak?
I don't know.
You're sure she was...
Oh, no.
Who's this Hannikin Hare, anyway?
Hannikin Hare? There was a time he was master huntsman here, and Margaret was set to be his wife. But then he got himself accused of murder and fled before they could hang him. Margaret and his job both ended up going to Nicholas.
So what's the story between Hare and Margaret?
It was complicated. He wanted her and she wanted him too, I reckon. At least for a while. But then she hitched up with Nicholas and now she says she never had a thought of wedding Hannikin Hare.
So what went on between Hare and the huntsman?
Those two? There was no love lost between them from the moment Hare arrived. And then Margaret got involved. It was a messy business.
Do you think Hare really killed that?
Who knows the truth of it now? I did find it all a bit odd. Hare never was much of a hothead. But then again, no one really knew him that well. And Margaret never wanted to speak of it. Wouldn't hear a word about it.
That's all I need. I've got a few...
So ask.
I heard you saw something fishy in the forest.
That's right, I did.
Can you describe what you saw?
It was after dark, I remember that. I went up past the castle along by the clearing, and I saw someone had lit a fire, and there were figures singing and dancing, and I could hear the whistling of a pipe. And I could smell roast meat. It was like a feast of some sort. Only I thought maybe it was some witch's Sabbath, so I was afraid to stay too long in case they saw me.
Did you recognize anyone there? Someone from the village, maybe?
No. Like I said, it was dark. All I could see was shadow.
Did you hear any from...
No. But I heard girls' laughter.
Where is the clearing?
A short walk north of the castle. There's a track past the woodcutter's camp that takes you there.
Thanks. What do you make of this poaching that's been going on?
It's clear as day. Hannikin Hare's back. And putting...
That's all I need.
Goodbye.
God's blessings.
I'd like to...
Take care. Look out! Can I do anything to help? What the?
God grant you...
I'd like to find...
If you ask me, there's some questions best left... Take care.
Greetings.
I heard you have poacher trouble.
Certainly do. They're running wild around here. And they kill a lot more than they take. Many a time I've seen a carcass just thrown in a ditch.
Why would someone just toss their catch in the woods? It doesn't make sense.
The wagging tongues say they're just doing it to spite the huntsman.
Do you have any idea who the poachers could be?
If I knew, the bastards would be strung up by now.
Don't tell me you've heard nothing at all.
Well, I did hear that Thomas, that fellow who works at the bathhouse, was...
I see. Has anyone seen those poachers with their own eyes?
No, just the dead game they leave behind. But Blacksmith Betty saw some goings-on in the woods.
Goings-on? What's that supposed to mean?
Well, that's what she said, and I ain't one to pry.
Why would anyone want to take revenge on the huntsman?
He's not the best-liked man in the village. We all know that. And then there are those who say Hannikin Hare is back.
Who's Hannikin Hare?
You're not from around here, are you? The Hare's quite the Talmberg legend. He used to be Master Huntsman here once, but then he ran off.
Why did he run?
Well, it just so happens I know the answer to that. Some big important nobleman came to Talmberg around then, and they made a grand occasion of it. And in the midst of it all, Hare had a falling out with some man-at-arms and knocked him in the moat. The poor bugger broke his neck. They picked the Hare up, but before they could take him before the court, he vanished.
Why take revenge on Master Huntsman Nicholas?
Because of Nicholas's wife, Margaret. Hare had his eye on her back then, but she didn't care for him and he was fuming. Well, and after he disappeared, Nicholas got his post.
Why take revenge on Master Huntsman Nicholas?
Because of Nicholas's wife, Margaret. Hare had his eye on her back then, but she didn't care for him and he was fuming. Well, and after he disappeared, Nicholas got his post.
Why take revenge?
Because of Nicholas's...
Why take revenge on Master Huntsman?
Because of Nicholas's wife,
Why take revenge on Master Huntsman Nicholas?
Because of Nicholas's...
Where did he run to?
No one really knows. They say he's hiding in secret tunnels beneath the castle, but that's all fairy tales. It's been years. As I see it, he's underground all right, 6 feet down and cold.
I want to ask about something else. Thanks. That's all I need to know.
Take care.
I want to ask one more thing about those poachers.
Well?
Thanks.
Take care.
Yeah.
That sounded like... Gee... Hey!
I'm glad to see. Goodbye. I've been hearing some quite wild stories about hair.
People do prattle on. It happened a long time ago, and I've heard some crazy tales myself.
And what's your version of what happened?
Hare was a stuck-up knob. He came here with nothing to show but his bare arse. But he thought he could have anything he pointed at. All because he was of noble stock.
Whatever became of him?
Oh, you must have heard. He killed one of the armed men that served Sir Henry of Lipa, and they sentenced him to hang. Except he scapered right out of the castle dungeon.
How did he manage that?
Nobody knows, but I'll bet he had help from...
And what was your wife's role in all this?
He had his eye on her, and she didn't want him. That's all.
I heard that he was a...
And I've heard there's blooming roses on Rattay Gallows at Christmas. A sorcerer. But...
That's all I need. I've good news, Master Huntsman.
Excellent.
Black Lukesh.
I might have known. That fellow has quite a reputation. All back.
The rest?
Black Lukesh is a rough...
I don't know about any other...
So, keep at... God be with you.
Yeah.
God bless.
I'd like to find...
If you ask me, there's...
I'd like to ask you about Hannikin Hare.
I'm sorry, but I...
The thing is, every time I spoke to someone about Hare, they always ended up talking about you.
But I don't.
You aren't to blame for anything, is that it? Well, I am willing to believe you, but you do know more than you're telling, and I need to hear it.
Very well. You're right. And what would you like to know about Hare?
How were things between you and Hare back then?
There was nothing between us. Hannikin Hare impressed my father with all his talk of noble blood. But I couldn't stand him, and I didn't want to marry him. And then it made no odds after he ran away.
So you didn't want it? I only asked because I've heard differently.
That's village talk. Of course folk gossip.
Did Hare really commit the murder?
God in heaven, how should I know? Anyway, it doesn't matter now.
That remains to be seen. What did you talk about in the woods with Hannikin Hare?
I see Betty's mouth's been busy.
Don't blame her. I had to work hard to weasel out.
Oh, all right. Well, it seems Hannikin Hare's ex...
And what about you?
What do you mean? I was so shocked, I couldn't even scream.
Is that all he told you?
He said if I change my mind, I'm to hang a garland of forget-me-nots on the house and wait for him at that place.
Where was it you saw him exactly?
I wish I could tell you. The whole thing was like a fever dream. I almost got lost trying to get out of the forest. Even if I remembered, it wouldn't be any use to you. Hannikin Hare moves through the forest like a ghost. He knows every tree root off by heart.
I want you to hang that garland on the lodge.
But I don't want to go anywhere with...
You don't have to go anywhere. But tell me, where's that secret meeting place of yours?
On the way to Ujits. Back then, we used to meet by the great big beech tree, right next to the wayside shrine. There's a lovely view there, you see.
And what time will he be waiting there for you?
At dawn. What are you going to do to Hare?
Never you mind. The main thing is...
I suppose.
That'll be everything.
Goodbye.
I want to talk a little more about...
Oh, very well.
That'll be everything.
God bless. Goodbye.
What the hell was that? Are you looking for someone?
Yeah. 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 Look out.
Greetings.
A fellow from Talmberg claims he saw you poaching. What do you have to say about that? Can you hear me? Don't you have anything to say to me about that?
I'm not a poacher.
That's not what I've heard.
But I'm not a poacher, though.
Did your friends tell you the penalty for poaching?
No.
No? Of course not. Because if you knew, you'd never have been foolish enough to get involved.
I'm no poacher.
No, of course not. You're the Pope in disguise.
What?
No, never mind. But just so you know, the local custom is to string poachers up.
I don't want to hang.
No? Then you better make sure they won't hang you.
How?
For a start, by telling me where I can find your merry band. So?
They only take me along.
All right.
Aye.
And where is that?
The clearing.
They meet in a clearing.
They camp there.
And where is the clearing?
A short walk from...
Oh, Lord. A short walk where? Do you know how many...
No. Sorry, I don't know.
Oh my God. Where is the clearing?
Along the trail. From the huntsman's lodge. Go into the wood by the big broken tree. Eastward.
Good luck then.
Yeah!
God be with you.
There's more I'd like to ask about hair.
Well?
That's all I need. Thanks. I found out where those poachers meet.
Well, that's at least one.
In fact, not all that far.
I see. They chew.
But now we can finally nab them, right?
We can. Go to the castle.
Wait, you're not coming?
I have a lot of work to do. Take care.
Yeah.
I'm at your...
Sir Divish mentioned you've been having one or two problems.
Well, he's not wrong. Thanks...
What happened with this?
A beast broke off one and fell on someone. And they blame it on the quality of the stone. Ha!
And isn't it possible?
It's not. I sent them the... It'll end, one way or the other.
Take care.
What do you know about these rumours?
There was an accident in the monastery.
And isn't it possible?
No, it's slander. Maybe they start...
See you later.
Hey! Yeah. Yeah. Andrew, the innkeeper, sent me. Said you had a job for someone who's good with a bow.
Did he now? That's all very well, but I don't know if you're a man I can trust.
So how can I prove it to you?
For a start, you can tell me why a lad like you wants to join us.
I've heard it could earn me some decent coin.
Yeah, that's what I used to think. Only it's not quite that simple.
Why's that?
You'll find out for yourself. Anyway, I have to check you out first. See if you're any good.
I'm listening.
To begin with, I need to bring me some deer antlers.
Easy.
Will you teach me?
Certainly.
Well, I hear you're...
Certainly.
Well, I'll... Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
What the hell was that?
Yeah! 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 I was beginning to worry you'd got lost in the forest.
No need to worry. I would have come back sooner, but it seemed a long way to go for just the one.
Well, well, so you're keen on hunting. I like that, lad. So give me the trophy, and the first task of your trial is done.
The first task?
Well, there was only one to begin with.
I see. So what do you want me to do next? Kill a dragon?
Hilarious. Nicholas the Huntsman has a very fine old hunting horn. But we'd like Nicholas better.
Wait. What's all this about?
Nothing to worry yourself with now.
Right.
Sometimes he carries it with him. It is a badge of office, after all. Best to go at night and have a look around his lodge. It's on the hill above the village. Come back to me as soon as you've got the horn.
Right.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Good health to God be with you.
Yeah. 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 I have that horn for you.
Ah, I'm looking forward to seeing the smile wiped off Nicholas's face when he finds out. As for you, the old man says you're in.
Last time you told me that if I brought the horn, you'd finally tell me what's going on.
Let's put it this way. Our old man's had it in for Master Huntsman Nicholas for years.
Why does he have it in for him?
There's more than one reason, but the heart of it is Nicholas lied under oath and almost got him hanged.
That's a fair enough reason.
You're telling me.
What's he trying to achieve?
If you want to know, ask around the village what they think of the Master Huntsman. The old man is making a bigger and bigger fool of him day by day. Soon enough, the gossip will reach the ears of Sir Divish himself. And that's just what the old man wants.
It wouldn't by any chance be that Hannikin hair everyone's talking about, would it?
Hear ye, hear ye.
I've heard all sorts of things. Some people...
I'll have to tell Hannikin that one. It's no surprise, though. To this day...
And how did he make his escape?
What do I know? He's never told anyone. Anyway, if you want to know the details, ask him yourself.
What's he trying to achieve?
If you want to know...
It wouldn't by any chance be that Hannikin hair everyone's talking about, would it?
Hear ye, hear ye. The lad is smarter than he looks. It is him, as it happens. What have you been hearing about him?
They said he killed some man at arms.
Who keeps spreading those... Anyway, if you want to know the
It wouldn't by... I heard the huntsman dropped him in it because of
As my old grandma used to say. Anyway, if you want to know the...
So, what?
We're just getting something big ready. We'll make camp in the north of Broder Woods. There's a concealed glade, and that's where you'll find us.
All right, I'll meet you there.
So you're the new fellow. Lucas said you know a thing or two. Question is, can we trust you?
Would I be here if you didn't?
Probably not. Did Lucas tell you who's in charge? Well, speak of the devil. Started to worry you weren't coming.
It couldn't be helped, Goathead. I had to get a document written up, and the nearest priest I can trust is in Janowitz.
Not writing your will already, sir.
Who is this?
Henry. Lucas brought him. He nicked Nicholas's hunting horn for us.
Then I'm sure we'll get on like a house on fire. Is everyone here?
Everyone. Except that fool Rada the charcoal burner. No one's seen hide nor hair of him.
We can't delay. If he's not back by evening, we go without him. So, Henry, tell me about yourself.
What do you want to know?
Why you came here. Where you come from. You know how it goes. I want to know your story.
What if I don't have one?
Everyone has a story. Leastways, everyone in this clearing does.
Sir! Sir! The Thornburgers are coming!
Hannikin Hare of Zalush, I arrest you in the name of Lord Divish of Talmberg.
The Master Huntsman is not coming?
The Master Huntsman arrests poachers, not murderers. Will you come quietly?
What do you say, man? Henry?
I say there's nothing to fear.
You're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I'll slaughter you. Donkey's beard! Dear God! You're going to cry. That's rolling out from under some rock. Damn! Yeah, did that hurt? Damn. Ah.
It seems things have started to move faster than I expected. Thank you, Henry. Without you, I probably wouldn't have saved my skin.
What's this all about?
It's complicated. And I understand that it might be hard to believe, but today you fought on the side of justice.
I've no idea what you're talking about.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Hanakin Hare of Zalush.
The nobleman?
I used to be. My house became sadly impoverished, and I became the master huntsman at Talmberg.
Gamekeeper turned poacher? I see. That's quite a transformation.
Nicholas gave me no choice.
What happened to your family?
My father lost his influential friends and the money with them. After his death, I inherited only his debts. There was nothing for it but to sell off all our possessions, see to my sister's welfare, and manage as best I could.
That sounds a rough deal.
Believe it or not, I never cared for the life of a nobleman. I spent my youth running free, hunting in the woods.
What happened between you and Nicholas?
I was falsely accused of murder. Henry of Lipa visited Talmberg, and the morning after the banquet in his honor, one of his men was found dead.
And didn't they have any cause to suspect you?
That's just it. They did. At the banquet, I got into a fight with the man.
I know Sir Hanish of Lipa. Was Sir Henry his father?
Indeed. He was on his way to Ratai to take charge of the fiefdom for young Sir Hans Capon.
Why did you get into a fight with him?
The fall of the House of Zalush was the work of the Lords of Lipa, and that fellow took great delight in reminding me of it.
And then what?
Nicholas began to pull strings. Several people came forward as witnesses.
Why would he have done that?
He wanted rid of me. We were both in love with the same lass, you see, and Margaret is his wife. But back then, there was no question which of the two of us would win her. I was the huntsman of noble blood, and Nicholas was just plain Nick. Her father's preference was clear.
Do you know who did kill the man?
No. He was found in a ditch with his neck.
And that never occurred to anyone?
It did. But some people swore they'd seen us jostling on the drawbridge.
What did Margaret think of you?
She took me for a fool. She only had eyes for Nicholas, but I didn't see it then. In the end, she could have saved me.
How?
She could have told the truth. After the banquet, I was with her. But when they asked her, she said she hadn't seen me that night.
How did you get out of it?
What leads you to imagine I did?
Your head's still on your shoulders, so you must have escaped somehow.
I'm alive. But my name and my family's name has been dragged through the mud. For me, that's worse than the sentence waiting for me.
If you say so. But you still managed to get away.
Well, it's true. I had the good fortune to escape from the dungeon.
From the Talmberg dungeon? That can't be done, can it?
It's not too hard when the lord of the castle himself helps you escape.
So Divish set you free? From his own dungeon?
He couldn't offend Henry, so he had to lock me up. But he trusted me. We were friends, after all. He led me out of the castle in the night. I was given a good horse, and in a couple of days I was in Silesia. And that was the end of it. At least until now.
And how did it happen?
It's a long story.
I've got time to listen.
All right. But for you to understand, I have to start from the beginning. I was born as Hanakin Hare of Zalush, the eldest son of Sidney of Zalush. My house became sadly impoverished, and I became the master huntsman at Talmberg.
Gamekeeper turned poacher? I see. That's quite a transfer.
Nicholas gave me no choice.
What happened
I was falsely...
And didn't they have...
That's...
And then what?
Nicholas.
Why would he have done that?
He wanted rid of me. But back...
How did you get out?
What leads you?
Your head's still up.
I'm alive. Well,
An interesting...
I can't complain.
Even if I believed you, there's no proof. It all happened a long time ago.
I know. But if I didn't believe in my own innocence, I'd have to be crazy to have done what I did.
Why?
If I truly were guilty, why would I risk coming back to Bohemia? I could have died in peace as a rich man in the pay of the Jagiellonians. Only if...
Nicholas took everything you had, regardless of your guilt or innocence. I'd say you have...
I'm not like him. Anyway, you're right. I don't have any proof of my innocence. All I can...
This is one of the most insane stories I've heard lately.
That doesn't surprise me.
But something tells me you're speaking the truth, Anakin Hare.
Thank you. I didn't expect to find anyone who believed me.
Trust me, after what I've seen lately, not much could surprise me. So, what are you up to?
Working out how to get Nicholas's confession.
And how would you do that exactly?
Simple. I'll have him sign it. I've had the priest in Janowitz write me up a parchment. When Nicholas signs it, he'll admit to everything written down there.
How do you want to force him to do that?
He won't have a choice, or rather he will have, between his wife Margaret and the job of huntsman.
I'm not following this at all.
It's plain enough. We'll kidnap Margaret. That's to say, you'll kidnap Margaret while I distract Nicholas. If he wants to see her again, he won't have any choice.
Kidnapping? That doesn't seem like much of a way to clear your name.
안녕하세요.
No. Take a look around you, Henry. Sigismund kidnapped Wenceslas, his own brother. And Divish was abducted by Medek of Waldeck.
True, but Sigismund and Medek kidnapped the men they wanted to bargain with. You're thinking of taking a man's wife who's done nothing to deserve it.
And what of it? Those others did it for money or power. I'm doing it to redeem my honor. And since you mentioned Margaret, she's not all that innocent. I could have swung because of her.
But that confession's just a scrap of parchment with writing on it. What will happen to him after that?
That scrap of parchment is for Sir Divish and the provincial court. But we'll be generous to Nicholas and let him leave in peace before we deliver the confession to Talmberg.
So Nicholas will go free, and you'll clear your name?
Hopefully.
So what do I need to do?
That horn you picked up from Nicholas should help us. I'm sure Nicholas will recognize its sound from quite far off. I'll lure him out of the lodge at dawn.
And I meant to kidnap his wife while he's gone?
Of course it would be best if she went with you voluntarily, but if not, you'll just have to drag her with you.
I don't know. What if there's trouble?
That's why I'm sending you. I trust you. When you get her, bring her here. Then we can decide what's next.
All right.
Don't forget, tomorrow at dawn.
못 눌러 지금. 여기 불필이 그러거든요. 그러면 여관에 가서 쉬는 게 낫지. 여관에 가고 어떻게 된 거야?
Hey, get out of here! This is no place for the likes of you. Get out of here! Be off, I say! Be gone from here! Get out, you bastard, or I shan't hold back! I warned you, you cur!
아유,
Ah! You gonna cry now?
소리나게 진짜. 왜 이렇게 찡찡대? 알아서 갈 건데. 리틀 기사님. 발이 왔어요. 아이고. 여관 주인 어디 갔지?
God save.
다 내놔도. 아이는. 새벽이라니까 5시에 일어나면 되겠죠?
You! What the hell are you fooling around here for? Be off right now. or I'll fucking There's someone...
What hole did you crawl out of? You've no business here. What are you doing here? Get out right now, or I'll scream!
You won't, because if I don't bring you back with me, Nicholas will be in deep shit.
What are you talking about? What happened?
That man of yours walked right into Hannikin Hare's trap. And if you don't come with me, his neck will be on the block.
Hare won't do anything to him. He'd never threaten a man's life.
Maybe he's not the person you once knew. A couple of years in exile can change a man.
I'll go with you. Just don't hurt me, please.
I've got no cause to hurt you. I want to ask you something first.
Ask away.
Why didn't you tell the truth back then? Hare was with you after the banquet.
I never wanted to marry him. But father insisted because Hare was of noble descent and his name meant something. That lie was the only way I could get rid of him.
Even though it meant condemning him to die?
Marrying him would have been a living death for me. I loved Nicholas. and I wanted nobody else. Can't you understand?
Yes, I understand. Do you know who actually did the deed?
No, and I don't think it was ever discovered. Once Hare disappeared, nobody bothered asking any more questions.
Come on, let's go.
Good work, Henry. Now we have to act fast and sort out Nicholas. Are you all right?
Well, I can't say I feel too good about it, but what else can we do?
Believe me, it gives me no pleasure either, but there's no other way. Take this confession. Go to Nicholas and make him sign it before you tell him where Margaret is.
What if he refuses?
You'll have to make him, one way or another.
I'm not complaining, but couldn't you go to him yourself?
Believe me, I'd rather not drag you into it at all. But if Nicholas sees me, he'll go straight for my throat before I get a word in. The only way to avoid bloodshed is if you go.
I see. Yes, you're probably right. I'm not complaining, but...
Believe me, I'd rather not drag you into it at all. But if Nicholas sees me, he'll go straight for my throat before I get a word in. The only way...
I see. And what if he attacks me?
Then of course you'll have to defend yourself. If you knock some sense into him and a...
All right. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. I'll get to it.
Here's the document. Don't forget to tell him he should get the hell out of Talmberg before we take it to the castle.
Where will I find you?
I'll wait for you in the clearing. Be quick. I don't want to keep poor Margaret here any longer than necessary.
I understand.
So?
Not yet.
Hurry up.
진짜 퀘스트 잘 만들었어요. 와, 진짜 퀘스트의 완성도가 감탄밖에 안 나오네.
야!
Have you seen my wife, Margaret? I'm sure something must have happened to her. I can't find her anywhere.
Yes, I've seen her.
Speak, where is she?
Hannikin Hare is holding her captive.
How do you know that?
It makes no odds. Just listen to me.
What, you whoreson? Tell me where she is right now or you'll rue the day.
Bluster all you want, but if you ever want to see Margaret again, you better get a grip on yourself.
Where is she? Tell me!
Yeah, you scratch my back, and I'll scratch yours. Sign this parchment here, and I'll tell you what you want to know.
I, Nicholas Angel, do hereby confess... conspiracy against Sir Hannikin Hare... just in proper punishment... What? You must be out of your fucking mind. Never.
Have you no honor at all? You almost sent an innocent man to his death on account of a woman, and now justice has finally caught up with you. So face it like a man.
Justice? What's all this about justice? Come to that, who are you, really? Why, you probably weren't even a glint in your father's eye when it all happened, and you want to judge me?
Merciful justice. If you sign this, Sir Hannikin will give you a head start. You and your wife can be long gone before Divish learns what you did.
I take it there's no other option.
None. But the deal could have been far worse. You can trade your good name for a happy life with your wife.
There. Now tell me where my wife is.
There's an old mine gallery, a little to the south of here. Margaret is in there, alive and well.
I certainly hope so. God be with you. What? Good luck then.
So, have you got it?
It's done. He signed it.
Voluntarily?
Yes. More or less.
Well, I'm glad it's been done without bloodshed.
And what now? Will you take the confession to Talmberg?
We'll go together. I need you to bear witness. I've been gone for years, and I'm not sure they'll take my word for anything.
Well, I hope they do believe you. Otherwise, we're both for the noose.
Don't worry. Divish won't forget our former friendship so easily. Are you ready to go?
Anakin Hare. I never expected to see you again.
It was the will of God that I returned.
You realize that Sir Henry of Lipa has never repealed his sentence against you. I'm duty-bound to arrest you and turn you over to the Provincial Court.
Perhaps. But will you read this first? Henry here is my witness that your master huntsman Nicholas signed it himself. This ought to change their minds.
It might. I'm sorry, Hannikin. I always trusted you. But your guilt seemed irrefutable. Nicholas was very thorough. Oh, there's no doubting his own confession. Captain.
Yes, sir.
Have the Master Huntsman arrested.
That won't be necessary. I don't think they'll find him.
I understand. So, what's to be done with you now? Poaching and kidnapping the Master Huntsman's wife. You see my difficulty.
I know. I can't stay here. It's enough to know my name is cleared.
I'll have a letter drawn up to recommend you to the service of Sir Vincent at Vellish Castle.
Thank you, sir.
But if Nicholas has vanished and we're sending you to Vellish, then who's going to be my master hunter here?
There's one obvious candidate. Henry here. Help me bring Nicholas to justice. And he's no disgrace as a hunter.
Really? Well, what of it, young man?
It would be an honor, sir.
Good, good. Then I hereby name you Master Huntsman at Talmberg Castle. My Chamberlain will tell you more about your new responsibilities. Good luck to you, Hannigan.
Thank you, Henry. I could never have managed it without you. God willing, we'll meet again one day.